Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen news. It is the week ending the 5th of May 2024. Alpha 3.23 isn't live just yet due to some bugs and Cloud Imperium wanting it to be the best it can be, but it will be real soon, TM. Fleet Week has revealed new ships, and for the lion's share of this video, we're going to be talking about a summary of the recent Star Citizen Live, Alpha 3.23 and beyond, because it's got some pretty juicy development plans and updates in there. Let's start with the news level though. Alpha 3.23 is open to all backers in the EPTU, the Experimental Public Test Universe. Hop into the EPTU and experience the introduction of creatures, master modes, a huge character customizer revamp, and more. I was expecting this patch to be live, but Alpha 3.23 is going to be going live during the weekend or early next week. Not a confirmation, but extreme expectation. I will eat my mouse if that's not the case. Maybe not. I lied. That said, addressing some of the issues that 3.23 had is always welcome. It's in a relatively good state, but there are stuff that was sort of holding it back with desync and some more egregious known issues. But yeah, they're going to get into the best state they can before live. There was another 3.23 EPT patch released last night that had even more bug fixes in it. Back to the newsletter though. Mark your calendars, citizens. Invictus Launch Week, otherwise known as Fleet Week, is coming May 17th to the 29th, and we're inviting everyone to join our special free fly event at the return of our annual military expo. So we know this is going to be at Area 18 on ArcCorp. We also know the Polaris is going to be flying around with the fleet. That's going to make a lot of people pretty happy. And the Idris will have an interior tour this time around, along with a load of new concept ships, new things that are newly flyable as well. Now, what sort of stuff might we see? Well, there's going to be lots of stuff on sale, obviously, throughout, but we've seen in the little clip they had of like a trailer for Fleet Week, a medical Ursa, some form of Argo MPUV logistics variant, and that Polaris flying around. Don't expect the Polaris to be actually flyable, just expect it to be flying around as part of the fleet and NPC controlled. CIG also unveiled the Mirai Pulse and Pulse LX teeny tiny hover bikes. These will be available once 3.23 goes live. I'm expecting them to be pretty cheap but popular for players that want lifetime insurance tokens for upgrades at Fleet Week. Sneak peek this week in the newsletter was of a cargo hover trolley that we're going to be using to help load and unload our ships at hangars, assumedly as part of the persistent hangar update in 3.23.x, some form of point patch during the next quarter. Now, let's move on to the meat and potatoes here. Star Citizen Live Q&A, Alpha 3.23 and beyond had a load of CIG's heavy hitters, talking about, well, answering a load of questions from the community. Why do we have Copion and Marok creatures rather than the other creatures that we know about? They are working on various creatures like cows, whales, worms, the Boreal Stalker, Yeti. It was just easier for them to get Copions and Marok in when they did, due to time constraints and all that sort of stuff. The Marok, for example, are their first Boyd in the game, sort of very lightweight AI flying birds, little birdie boys. Then you've got the Copions, which are much more like a standard AI NPC, but they hunt in packs and that sort of stuff. But they wanted to test the tech out for each of them. Next week's Inside Star Citizen will delve more into that. Economy updates, what are we getting? So they've reviewed and overhauled the prices of weapons, armor, ships and vehicles, and mission rewards, the manufacturer, quality, material, rarity, types of item, all that sort of stuff affects the cost. How effective is it? Ships and vehicles, they've gone up an average of 1.5 to 3 times in price, along with what I previously said that affects the price. They also have things like the size of the ship. Is it a military or luxury ship? How much money can you make with the ship? That sort of stuff will affect its price quite significantly. And some ships have gone up in price by like 8 times. But they want these to be sort of major important purchases, and there was too much sort of Alpha UBC flying around that was easily available. Salvaging was also rebalanced with lower returns as it was flooding the market with easily made Alpha UBC. Mission rewards are now going to be much more affected by effort, risk, time, sort of versus reward. They're going to continue to tune this well beyond 3.23. They want more money sinks in the future as well, with insurance, mortality, as well as a dynamic economy. Lots of stuff that you're going to be spending your money on. They want to rename quantum simulation to something else because obviously they have quantum travel and it's confusing to have both being talked about. Will there be a wipe in 3.23? Yes, there will be a partial wipe. They said Alpha UEC ship rentals, consumables, refinery jobs, that stuff will all get wiped. They want to see players earn monies and buy stuff in-game for their analytics, however, which is why they're wiping Alpha UEC, so they can have people actually earning it and buying stuff with it. It sounds like ships and vehicles may remain if you've bought them previously, so bear that in mind. If you've bought them with Alpha UEC, they might stay in the 3.23 patch. Spend your Alpha UEC now, is what I'm saying. Again, with the 3.23.x cycle, they aren't planning a wipe, but if they need to do any wipes, they will. I believe in any point patches as well, you will retain your home location and your character this time around. Obviously, with 3.23, with that wipe, you'll also have to choose your new home location and create a character with the new character customizer, assumedly. What should we expect in terms of gameplay for the hostility reputation feature that's part of 3.23? So this is actually more them setting up content that's coming in 4.0. They wanted to start testing it ahead of Pyro. Grimhex will be set up as a neutral area in the future. There is sort of neutral factions in 3.23, like the Dusters, that won't attack you unless you attack them. They have settlements around Stanton. Why did they choose to put glint on the scopes of sniper rifles when someone's pointing at you? So it's something they wanted to try so that snipers won't just dominate. They want you to be able to sort of engage with them, know where they are. You don't want to be instantly downed. Death's very punishing. Well, at least it will be in the future with Death of the Spaceman. So they don't want players to be frustrated. They want them to know what's happening and what happened. They want them to be able to do things about it. So there are other solutions they're looking at. They can always turn off Sniper Glint. It didn't take much development time to put in. So they'll explore other things to do to deal with sniper versus people getting sniped gameplay. Why can we scan other players' ships but not our own? So ship scanning is exterior of your ship. There will be FPS gameplay for scanning the interiors and things that are nearby you separate from that. Master modes. Why was this made? Originally, it was a response to wanting to make flight and combat more enjoyable and prevent all fights just becoming jousts. They want a system that's fair to use, gives a strong skill floor and a high ceiling, and a system that is interesting for flight for non-combat ships as well. They are constantly improving and iterating on this, though. They will be adding more depth and evolving master modes, combat and ship flight and operator modes and all of that jazz. Performance and desync issues in 3.23 are a thing. What's going on with this? They are evaluating analytics and putting in fixes. The interaction lag is directly related to the replication layer and networking. When server performance dips, it causes a stack of delays at the moment. They are looking at various improvements to mitigate this. This may look like an elevator isn't working or trying to get into a seat, it's broken, but it's not, it's just delayed. Also, there is debug that they're running at the moment that was sort of slowing down performance in the ePTU. You obviously won't have the debug in live. They think they have the interaction lag solved now, though there are other bugs that they're still ironing out and may present similarly. Is there a concern of another 3.18, or how concerned are CIG about avoiding another 3.18 incident, basically leaving the game in an unplayable state for several months because you couldn't log in or you couldn't play, or there was so many problems with the game? So they've had a ton of tests and bug fixing to try and make the game as playable as possible before a major patch goes live. That's sort of part of their process now. They do have some big tech with the replication layer and the server split, server recovery coming into 3.23. This is a precursor to server meshing. They need to push out the patch to live to get more players to test it, though. There is only so much they can do in PTU builds. The game is alpha for a reason, and they will push it to a live build and then go, look, we'll hotfix it and improve it once it's released, but we need more data. They might run into issues in the future, hopefully nothing too major though, but they will get through it, and they will be pushing towards 1.0's release as they add more and more features. Server meshing is going to have bugs even in 4.0. They'll want to fix them too as they go. With Alpha 3.23 being the biggest patch yet, is there too much in there? So they wanted to get in as much as possible because a lot of it's Squadron 42 stuff, and they don't want to keep on splitting those bits up. They get it all in now, or a good portion of it in now, and then they can transition to a lot more persistent universe specific content with a solid base for that. They want Star Citizen to actually be pushing towards being considered an MMO. The current state of cargo elevators, persistent hangars, and freight elevators, the stuff that's coming in 3.23.x patches. They have the sort of cargo updates playable in a dev build now, and persistent hangars and the freight elevators. They're trying to fix various bugs and issues with freight elevators. Cargo is a foundational feature, and these systems should be released in a 3.23.x patch. They won't push it to live, though, until it's working well, but they're confident it will be in a point patch. It's important that they get this stuff in a playable state, because otherwise it prevents you playing Star Citizen pretty much at all, as cargo is so fundamental to how the game plays now. Grimhex as a home location and bad guy gameplay. When's this sort of coming? They will have this available in the future, sort of having Grimhex as a location you can have it as your home and actually spawn there. They want to get a few things sorted first, because just spawning there and it being quite aggressive, starting players not knowing that, and that could be a bad thing. Pyro will allow for much better bad guy, bad gal gameplay, and somewhere for them to hang out more. So there are going to be more legal risks in Stanton, but obviously more Wild West in Pyro. There will be factions to join for gangs and unlawful gameplay in the future, and a lot of this will be against other unlawful players and NPCs rather than just against miners and cargo haulers and lawful players. So Star Citizen is very much both a PvP and PvE game. How does CIG see Arena Commander? So it's a useful testbed for feature tests. They may use it to test out new spawn locker updates with an FPS swarm mode in the near future. Obviously, they're using it for things like the experimental modes with engineering. But Star Citizen's persistent universe is the priority. They are going to be leveraging Arena Commander, though, to test as much of the features for PU as they can, where it's sensible. Bedlogging. Is this still the plan? Because there were some comments apparently that said it wasn't going to be. What's going on? Bedlogging is still planned to be a thing. You will even get a buff potentially from bedlogging when you log back on after logging off in a bed. But you will also be able to log out anywhere and then log back in there where you were. They want your character position and sort of stuff that loads in with you to be persistent. More star systems will make this all better as well and make a bit more sense. What place is there for solo players in Star Citizen? So there's going to be a lot of solo gameplay in Star Citizen. Certain missions and larger goals are meant for larger groups, but a lot of them will still technically be possible for a solo player. Obviously, you're going to be able to join orgs or factions or just groups of opportunity. You will be able to have NPC crew on your ships, although that is still a while away. It's on the roadmap though. But there is a mix of content for solo, groups of many sizes. However, no real hard limits. That said, things like data heist, you do really need at least 2 of you, because you are running around defending something and needing to put in codes where the other person's running around finding those codes, and there's a time limit to it, so you can't really do it solo. Is night vision actually going to be a thing? So they've actually been playing with night vision on optical lenses recently. They might have these in game relatively soon, but for visors and cockpits it's going to take a bit longer. It apparently looks great, that night vision they've got, although it's not true night vision. It's light enhancement, not stereotypical night vision. Boom! That's it for your updates today. You should check out the links down below for NordVPN. It's a VPN that I advertise on my channel. And you click that link and buy it, and you get a VPN, and I get money, which is great. And I use that VPN to aid with privacy, security, and accessibility to the internet. Also, Tobii Eye Tracker. There's links to that down below as well, because it's got 15% off until the 15th of May. So you should check Tobii Eye Tracker out, because maybe you want some precise eye tracking and head tracking in Star Citizen, which is natively supporting it. And if you do leave a comment down below, you will be in for a chance of winning a Spirit C1 as part of our monthly ship giveaway. And this also comes with a game package and lifetime insurance. So check that out. Comment on all my videos made during the month to have greater chances of winning. And please consider supporting the channel either by clicking the join button, liking, subscribing, commenting. That all helps. There's Patreon links down below. All of those affiliate links also help. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great May. And if you've got any questions or thoughts, chuck them in the comments below.